Hi, I'm Josh,
I'm Kainoa.
and welcome to Fin Spex. This week, I tested the Wade Tokoro template from Futures and the Coffin Brothers template, also from Futures. Both pretty raked template, both real swept back with lots of bass, and some other interesting design features we'll get into a little bit later. So I'm 170 pounds. I'm 5'10". So I kind of fall right on the line between the medium and large weight scales for fins. And then the board I rode was a 5'11", 18 7/8, 2 3/8 Too Happy, which has been my magic shortboard. I've had it for almost 2 years now. And the fins I normally ride in that board and any of my boards are the AM2 Tech Flex from Futures, and I've been riding it actually a lot lately as the Wade Goodall fin from Captain Fin. All right, and we're going to play the Tokoro. And these fins are very different from anything we've really ridden in this series yet. These are both high performance.
They're both seem like they were really solid fins. Definitely seem like they're made for two different kinds of waves, two different kinds of surfing. But yeah, let's get into it.
All right, 3, 2, 1. All right. And so there's a lot of people out this day. But those things right off the bat felt so good. Like the first turn I did, it's so much hold and so much speed.
You can tell they just want to take off as soon as you start going, and you get so much speed out of your turns.
Yeah, like that second wave. The only reason I fell right there is because the wave kind of fell apart. But yeah, it carried so much speed up into the lip, and that was a slip. They carried so much speed up into the lip and so much speed on rail, and they had so much hold. And those fins are actually a medium, which normally I get real slippy and slidey on most medium template fins. But those felt really good. They had so much drive. And even there, driving through a kind of a flat face cutback, you can still kind of push on them and get them to come around.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to go with how wide this base of this fin is. So much surface area at the bottom.
Yeah.
Compared to a lot of large fins, it's probably as big, if not bigger, at the bottom.
Yeah, they felt super, super loose, but they weren't sliding around. The best of both worlds. It was a really, really cool fin, and I'm probably going to buy a set.
Did you feel, because I hear some things about the little point at the end, do you think that had anything to do with the extra grip to keep the fin from sliding out?
That's what I've always kind of thought, because this little trailing edge right at the tip of the fin back here is kind of sharp. I think that little corner, that little point has a lot to do with hold for sure. And yeah, those felt amazing. And we'll get into a little bit more about why they've felt so good in a little bit.
Take a look at the coffins.
Yeah, let's take a look at the coffins.
3, 2, 1, action.
Here's the first wave on the coffins.
Square.
That was heavy. I tried to go right and it didn't go well. But yeah, I got one good turn on the coffins this day and a decent cutback and kind of blew the rebound. But yeah, we had to change locations with these because it just got too crowded where we were.
There you go. Patent straight air.
Stomped a little air.
I think you do one of those every one of these things.
I think I do a little straight air every single one of these episodes.
More consistent.
Yeah, these fins definitely felt pretty stiff, but they felt good. They felt good at times for sure. Yeah, and even though this isn't at all what you are supposed to ride these fins in or that kind of a board, considering how small the waves were when we were filming with these, and riding a 5'11" standard shortboard in knee-high beach break is definitely not ideal conditions for it. but oof, low tide, south wind. But yeah, these had a lot of drive and a lot of speed, considering how small the waves were.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know how that happened. That usually doesn't work. A little chop hop. These fins felt like something I would take on a trip with me if I was going somewhere that had like heavy, fast, powerful surf, where I was going to be pushing really hard on my fins, going really fast, not having to work for speed. But even still, they felt really good. Even for being in the waves that they were in, the fins actually didn't feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, like, it looked like they're going pretty good. I mean, I'd be struggling in this kind of surf anyway, especially with these kinds of fins, so stiff and, yeah, raked out.
Yeah.
Definitely see why they call it the control series.
It's definitely a lot of control. But the Coffin fin really shined, considering how we weren't really testing it in the right conditions for the fin and that board.
The major difference here is obviously going to be the construction of the fins. With the Tokoros, you have your standard honeycomb construction, and you could just see how much the flex gives you speed in and out of your turns, because the fin has more time to load up and snap out, which is going to give you that extra acceleration versus when you'd see your Coffin Brothers all fiberglass, which is notoriously stiff and definitely intended for larger surf. These ones, they don't load up as much, so you have to do a lot of the work in a smaller kind of wave.
You could see in the Coffin footage, like, having to work pretty hard to get speed going.
One thing I noticed is that these ones have a lot of cant to them. If you look at them, they're super, super angled. And what do you think that does to your ride and how they feel?
I didn't know that these fins actually have more cant than standard. Looking at them, you can see it. It's more angled out away from the center of the board. What that does is a fin goes fastest when the fin itself is straight up and down. So like a single fin, it goes fastest when the board's flat. And then you can feel it when you ride a single fin. It slows down when you put the board on rail. Whereas a thruster is designed to have a lot of drive when the board is on the rail. And this fin, it definitely has that effect, but even more so when you really are putting it on rail, because when you're putting the board on rail and doing a turn, the fin is, you can put it further on rail, and then the fin is still straight up and down on that, on whichever side you're putting in the water, and you can feel it carry the speed through the turn with all that cant angle.
Because I don't think I've seen very many fins with as much cant as the Tokoros have. Do you think that has anything to do with the ease of making the board turn? Does it make it looser? Does it add more stiffness to it?
I think it definitely makes the board looser, because those side fins want to be on rail.
Yeah.
And as soon as you lean a little bit, it just rolls right over. It doesn't tip like a V-bottom or something would, but those fins definitely help it roll onto rail and then stay and carry speed when the board's on rail.
What would you say? I'm your average surfer just kind of looking to go around town.
I would say the Tokoros are a great option. One of the best all-around fins I think I've ridden in this whole series. A couple of the other fins I've ridden, like the Johns or the Pizels, I'm like, oh, I might buy these. I really like these. But these, I'm like, I have to have these for sure, because they just felt so good. And I think it'd be a fin that I would put in a lot of my boards with more rocker. Like a groveler, I wouldn't necessarily put that fin in, but for a standard shortboard, I would put that in. As far as quick directional change and stuff, they were super loose, wild. This is a good fin for everybody, because it's not too straight up and down all the way through. It's straight up and down on, this part of the fin right here, but then it sweeps back. So it's kind of a good neutral style template. The Coffin for sure is definitely a good wave, high rocker board fin. I would probably ride it here in California maybe 4 or 5 days out of the year. When the waves are really on, I would throw this fin in. And
if you live in a place with the right waves for it, surfing good, powerful waves all the time, then those would be a great set of fins to have in your bucket.
From loosest to stiffest, I would say that the Coffin fin is for sure the stiffest fin that I've ridden so far. It's not saying loose is good and stiff is bad, but these fins definitely have their time and place. And then these are probably the loosest.
You think so?
Like these are completely like opposite ends of the spectrum, because the other really loose fins that we rode was the first episode, which was
the pivots and the Hayden shapes.
Yeah,
both black stick construction,
and those are both really loose, but those fins didn't have a lot of hold. This maintains, like, expands on the looseness of those fins, but they have tons of hold, which is just insane. That's why I'm so impressed by these. Yeah, so opposite ends of the spectrum here. And it's funny, they don't look like they'd be on two opposite ends of the spectrum, but they ride completely different.
If you want to try any of the fins that are in the Futures, FCS, whatever line, and you want to give these ones a shot, come down to the shop. We have the $5 fin demo program. You get to try 5 sets of fins a week at a time. You get to cycle through it. Just $5. You can go through all of them. And what can the people do if they can't come down to the shop?
And then they can do the 30-day buy, try, and decide fin program on our website. So you can buy a set of fins, try them for 30 days. If you don't like them, you can send them back, no charge, as long as you don't, totally destroy them, run them into the rocks or anything like that. And then come into our shop and browse through the 700 plus surfboards we have in here. There's a lot of there's actually some good stuff in here right now. And then we have any accessory you could think of, from wax to fins, obviously, to leashes, traction pads, sunscreen, ding repair, merch, and there might be a cool dog in here.
Yeah,
you never know, one of the owner's dogs or one of our employees' dogs. For the next forthcoming Fin Spex episode, let us know which fin templates you want us to try next. There's only a few left. We've pretty much ridden everything in the Futures line as far as thrusters go.
Drop a comment below. There's the Geordies, the AMs, DHDs, Jack Freestones, another Control Series fin,
Eric Arcala,
Dark Arts fins. Yeah, any fins that you've been curious on how they go, how they compare, let us know.
So until next time, this is Kainoa. I'm Josh. We'll see you soon.
Adios.
All right, play Brian's awesome song.
The tide's will run, it's time to go. No reason to take it slow. Gotta get up, hit the road, and say what's up to Poncho. Rolling through the storm on my way to trip away.